Hi, I am Shallalla. I am a creativity coach, and I am so excited to do this to share some observations of my trade on Ronnie Radke. A couple of months ago, YouTube recommended The Drug in Me Is You Reimagined to me, which was a stellar example of the YouTube algorithm working because that song devastated me in the best possible way. I looked up Ronnie, his art, and what he has to say about it, and I really wanted to share some of my thoughts. So finally there was a new interview published. This is from Not Fast, Ronnie Radke exclusive Q&A part 1 of 4. It went online end of February 21, and I really hope that it's a juicy one that gives me a lot to talk about. Let's go.
Once upon a time, you were doing every magazine interview back when there were a lot of magazines. You were on all the covers and showing up all over the press and all over social media. You've been much more reserved of late, talking less and doing more, one might say. What's that all about?
I see some of my favorite musicians getting mad on Twitter, and it's so embarrassing. And I've done it. I cringe. I cannot believe I said some of the stuff.
Everybody cringes when looking back in time. I was a teenager in the 90s, so don't get me started. As artists, or not just as artists, as human beings, we need to come to terms with the fact that we evolve, hopefully. And if you look at it like that, cringing at your past self is actually a good sign. You've grown.
You know, and then I go and look at, like, I won't name some of these people, but they're older than me and they're like kind of rock star legends, and they are continuing to do that, and it just literally destroys this image, and I don't want it to destroy that image that I have, you know. So like in my head I'm like, no man, this guy, he's like, you're complaining about I don't know, there's a long list, you know.
I mean, of course, these platforms are designed to be addictive. And for those of us who might struggle with impulse control, it's such a perfect drug to be able to just get on there and react to everything that's happening.
It's definitely addicting. It is. And that's why I don't have it on my phone. I feel like your quality.
That is so clever, and you might think this is too simple to point out, but I am doing it nevertheless. That's a trick you can use in a lot of problem areas. I'm wasting too much time on social media, so just clear the apps from your phone. I am eating too much junk food, so don't buy it anymore. Very simple and very effective.
Life goes down and you don't even realize it's going down, like mentally, like because you're constantly looking at Instagram, constantly.
It's the frog in boiling water, right?
Yeah, you're constantly looking at Facebook and you're just constantly looking at people upset at each other all the time. That's what I've noticed.
I really would like to see a world where people are as happy as they pretend to be on Instagram. Or maybe happy is the wrong word, maybe where their lives are as interesting as they look like on Instagram. That'd be a great world, to be honest.
Taking it off your phone sounds like a nice happy medium, as opposed to becoming one of those people that's like, I'm not even on there. I don't even have it. Because that becomes a thing in and of itself too, right?
There's no tone. You can't type tone. So if you make a joke, you know, where's the tone? If a certain person's having a bad day, they're gonna read it in the tone, you know, of how they feel instead of like how I feel.
And it becomes like a historical record, and the context of the times changes.
Yeah, it's like I tweet, just went to the bathroom. That's how I feel, and someone reads it like, just went to the bathroom, because they don't, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know. And also, why would you tweet, just went to the bathroom? And I've done that. I've done that multiple fucking times. And it's, you know, and people posting pictures of their food. And
if you see my timeline from like 2007, I'm tweeting my coffee order.
Do you cringe?
Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so cringy, bro.
You know?
It's so cringy. But if you look back on stuff, that's why everything is deleted. I do not want to cringe at myself anymore. I already got Good Girls, Bad Guys, and Bad Girls Club and stuff like that to look at forever.
Yeah. Cringe control. I totally understand the impulse to do that. Yet if you take it too far, it'll lead you to a block. When you make a piece of art and you tell yourself, I might cringe at this in 5 years, you have a problem. Artists are not finished, they never are. And that is something that Ronnie actually demonstrates very clearly with going back to some of his music and rearranging it and going deeper. He is a perfect example of artistic growth. And growth is not always pretty. It's not linear, it's erratic, and the things that make you cringe from the past are actually the building blocks for what you are doing now. It's really easy to give up and like to throw your hands in the air and say, what's the use? Like, what's the use when I already know that what I am doing now, I could do better in 5 years? Well, the thing is, you have to. It is a necessary step. You can't skip it. Without that cringe-worthy piece of art, you would not be where you are now. So, cringe away.
So,
Are you cringing at that stuff now?
yes. Yes.
They're like,
It's like,
they're like TikTok sensations now. It's given it a whole new life.
do you see like the format? You see what's happening though?
Yeah. It's interesting to see how it persists, right? And what new ways people are discovering music. I mean, we're talking like classic rock bands and stuff like that. Listen to me advocating for TikTok, an app that I don't have and don't understand.
Yeah.
But, you know, I can appreciate that it's bringing things
Hey, man,
to,
I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining because it just literally makes my streams go up like exponentially, you know. But you're allowed to cringe at stuff, you know. Like when my hair was this big, it looked like a cross between like Macho Man Randy Savage and Van Halen. You know what I mean? Like,
I wasn't gonna say it, but he said it. Nothing to add.
Motley Crue, but I'm sure Motley Crue and Warrant and all those bands look back on photos and videos of them and kind of cringe a little bit.
I mean, it's like yearbook photos.
It was a moment in time, and it was a great memory too, as well.
Yeah, I mean, and seeing throngs of the Warped Tour audience physically sitting down during Bad Girls Club. Part
This is the heaviest song you have ever heard.
No, but I mean, the part, right, wasn't that the song where you'd have everyone sit down and then everyone get up, and occasionally there's always the one person who's like way in the back.
Hey, don't get me wrong, I still perform those songs. I'll still perform them because those songs bang live. They're just, they just bang forever, you know, like, but I remember, here's a good example, Alone, the song called Alone, and it was when trap and rap, or trap and metal, it kind of didn't exist. I don't know, like trap metal, not rap rock, right?
Right.
What I was doing felt like it didn't really exist in a sense of like, I don't know how you'd say that.
There was dubstep stuff coming in and like trap.
I think it is so beautiful that he always found ways to mix things up. What I really love about his art is how curious it is. Let's see what happens when we mix these 2 or even 3 genres. He tries out a lot of things, and that, in my opinion, takes a lot of courage. I feel like by now he's actually become his own genre.
Stuff, like you said, and
it was unique,
a different
in its
style.
Yeah. But the lyrics, I remember my label calling me, and Brett, and he goes, hey, man, you try to be nice. It's like, you should change the lyrics in the verses to not so like be so knuckleheady. And I was like, what's that supposed to mean? And then if you go read the lyrics, they're just, oh my God, dude, they're just.
Let's go read that lyrics. Okay, I can totally see the knuckleheads and nowadays cringe factor. Nevertheless, there is one line that I like to point out. Why do you switch your style up and that I don't matter? Switching styles, we just spoke about that. People don't really like change. People get mad when their favorite restaurant changes the menu, and people get mad at an artist when they change their style. There's always people at the front of change, like artists, entrepreneurs, visionaries, and those are a few. And then there's the masses, and the masses, they are just slower. It's simple physics, if you think about it. The second part of the line, that I don't matter, is, in my opinion, everything I say is in my opinion. It's the cruelest thing you can say to someone, because everyone strives to have meaning in their lives. Everybody wants to matter, and to take that away from somebody, it's just cruel. Take a look at my videos on making meaning and opting to matter if you want to know more.
so they're corny for sure.
There's also hip hop. I mean, hip hop's a form that is built on bragging.
I fuck with Drake, and he like, you know, he like brags a lot about stuff, but I just feel like it's just looking back, it's like,
Yeah.
maybe I should have said something a little different.
It's funny when we're talking about this and being reflective that, you know, and we'll get into all of this, but on the back of the success of Popular Monster, you know, you did The Drug in Me Is You, sort of a thank you to the fans, the reimagined version for the album going gold, which is insane in this climate for anyone to have a gold record.
Yeah.
And then for that record, the first Falling in Reverse record to go gold, like basically what felt like 5 minutes before your current song then goes gold. So it's almost like there's always this reaction from the universe, or however you want to describe it, where people go, oh, he has a gold record, but that's like an old record. And then you have a new gold record like right afterwards.
Yeah, my friend Davey, back in the day, like 5 years ago, he said, man, he goes, you're the luckiest person, but with the worst luck. That's what he said. You know, and I always thought about that. I'm like, he's right. He's like, I got some bad luck, but I got really good luck at the same time.
Yeah,
You know?
good fortune and bad luck combined or something.
I guess, yeah.
Some sort of mix.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wrote about how I felt. I watched the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, and the song was already in the works. The lyrics weren't, and that movie made me feel some type of way, you know. And I just wrote the lyrics down. That's how I felt when I went into the studio. That people like wonder how my voice is so low. That's how I actually literally felt, you know. I've been to the emergency room many times thinking I was dying, and they're always like panic attack, you know.
Yeah.
But
It is so interesting to see how many wonderful creative people suffer or suffered from panic attacks. I think of it as an emergency break from your mind. It's like your mind is yelling, something is really wrong here, look at it. And sometimes we know very well what it is, and sometimes we need to get really quiet and start investigating ourselves. And an excellent way to do that is actually to write things down, and it always pays off to figure out what triggered a panic attack.
this was years ago, and it's better now, but I just remember being in the midst of that and be like, nah, you cannot tell me that what I'm feeling is a panic attack, that I'm dying, you know.
To have the success with Popular Monster and to do that sort of reward and gratitude to the fans with the reimagined version, doing the reimagined, did that kind of lead to the I'm Not a Vampire revamp?
There was no real planning. It was just like kind of like an aha moment kind of thing. And I was like, how can I do this again and make it more modern and make it more like epic, you know? It's definitely that.
Either he's not aware that it is way more than making it more epic and more modern, but he's too self-reflective for that, so I think he's playing it down. What I admire about The Drug in Me Is You reimagined the most is the depth, the artistic and emotional depth that this remake offers. I said it at the beginning of this video, that song devastates me. I don't listen to it very often, but when I do, then I am a total mess. Ronnie goes so deep, it's so raw and so brutal that when I first heard it, I was afraid that the artist behind it wasn't able to come back up. And that is when I started to do research. I wanted to see whether he was okay.
Sure, I could say that with fucking confidence for sure. But Popular Monster, here's the weird thing about Popular Monster. Obviously, it's about depression and anxiety and post-traumatic stress and rage and like all these things, you know. The weird thing is in that mind frame going into the studio, and my voice is low because I did not feel good. I just didn't feel good, and I just was trying to get the words out, and I was like, I just need to get the words out. And then my engineer's like, hold on, this sounds crazy, you know, and that's how it started. But
I love that he's sharing that. A lot of people think that when artists reached a certain level of recognition, money, fame, that everything is great, and it's just not. And that's actually when people get really sad, like when they experience existential sadness. It's like, I'm living my dream. Why am I not happy? And Ronnie seems to have to come to terms with this. So he was in the studio living his dream as a musician, and he was not feeling good. And nevertheless, he committed to his art. Just let me get the words out. Do you see this commitment? Like, let me contrast it with, I'm not feeling it today. I'm not inspired. Let me just go home. Just get the words out. I love that. Even more because that made the song better. It's an amazing story to remember that the next time that you want to give up and just go home.
The weird thing is how I felt then was really how I felt. And then Pop the Monster exploded and ironically made me feel good.
Right.
And it completely took me out of that. It's music is amazing, you know.
That's art at its best.
Yeah.
Right. Or even like,
Yeah, that's art at its best, but also the person he can credit for that is himself. He made it happen.
you said, sitting down watching the Joker in the theater and relating that to your own
Yeah.
experience. You're not watching that going like, I'm this character, we're exactly the same. You're
Yeah.
connecting it to yourself
Yeah,
and
because-
processing something through that art.
I felt like, I was like, yeah, a lot of people probably feel like this, but whatever, And then I was like, whoa, everybody feels like this. Why does everybody feel like this?
It is my belief that artists need to feel their feelings because they are feeling them for everybody else as well. They don't have the luxury of numbing out or suppressing or whatever. It's the job of an artist to feel the feeling and to make it into art so that somebody who doesn't have words for it, who doesn't have Ronnie's voice, and who is not able to express themselves like he is, so that this person can put their finger on this feeling and say, this is how I feel. And then the next step is the connection. He knows what I'm feeling, so that means I'm not alone. And this is how art heals. And this is why artists are vitally important to any kind of society, to humanity. Popular Monster is so successful, it resonates with a lot of people, including myself, because Ronnie did his job as an artist. And unfortunately, we quite often mix up being an artist with being a celebrity. Being a celebrity makes it actually harder to be an artist because there's this image to obtain. So there's calculation. How much do I show? How much do I allow people to see? And that is actually why I love Ronnie Radke, because it seems he made a choice. The choice of being an artist first. Is there anything that you love about Ronnie? Let me know in the comments.
Because that's what it feels like. It feels like everybody has listened to that song.
So, I got my wish. This interview gave me a lot to work with, and I always hope that people find value in my videos. And if you did, please leave a like and feel free to subscribe to my channel for more information like this. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.